we all been there. We all been where we feel that our dreams are out of reach and it feels almost impossible to reach our goals. And today we're going to talk about the number one life hacks that your exotic self do when facing challenges, because it will be different from how you face challenges today. And if you're wondering, like, what is she talking about? Why is she talking about the exotic self? Then you will have to go back to the latest video, which I started this series of becoming your most exotic self. So I will not go into the details now. I will not let you linger. When we are facing challenges, I do believe actually that we, in one way or another, will be facing challenges as long as we are in our human kind of container. Even though it might be different from person to person, you might not face the same challenges as before, but there is a big difference in how you can face your challenges, and your exotic self is facing challenges with excitement. This is a very big shift that is happening, and I can just tell you that the latest 1.5 years has been quite unknown for me. I've been in very new territoriums, and I just felt that, wow, things are so uncertain. I don't know where to go next. I don't know where to go next month. You know, it has been a very kind of a navigating path for me. And due to that, I've also learned a lot throughout the process, and I also become a more confident person in my own obstacles and challenges, and actually coming more experimental and becoming more exotic in that way, excited about the challenges that I'm facing. And this has totally shifted the game for me and makes me feel so much more at ease and so much more calmer in situations where I feel that, okay, I should lose my mind right now, but I actually don't do any longer. I actually don't have that kind of worry, even though worry creeps in. It definitely does. I do feel that I have another and a very new level of carrying myself out in those challenges. And there is actually science on this as well. You know, there is a lot of science linked to kind of your self-confidence, and how you perceive yourself and how you carry yourself out is linked to your actual achieved results. So people who are more confident and see challenges as something that is fun and something that is exciting, those people are much more likely to actually reach their goals, because they do find new solutions to things. They are more open-minded, they are more rapidly changing and rapidly evolving. They're more flexible in their challenges. There's so much more things that is happening actually when you carry a certain level of confidence through challenges. And the persons that actually are a little bit less confident and are a little bit less excited about the things that is happening in their lives, and when they're feeling like, okay, my dreams are out of reach, those are so much more likely to hesitate, to doubt, to question themselves, question the path, question, you know, the decisions, and all of that creates a path of indecision, and it takes longer time. You linger in one place, and you're also much more likely to, in a way, quit. So we don't want to do that, right? We want to tap into our most exotic self. So here is actually, and I want to actually be a little bit, you know, open about the conversation today. So I want to first discuss what I stopped doing when it comes to having more confidence and more excitement about my challenges, and then we will talk about what can we do. A couple of years ago, maybe, I listened to a podcast where a woman described, I don't remember at all what podcast it was, but she described it in the way that pick a life where you actually have challenges that you are excited about. And that piqued my interest a lot. And I've been carrying that with me since then. And I actually carry that with me since then in what kind of life I create for myself, what kind of job opportunities I want to take on, what kind of lifestyle I want to have, and all of that. Because if you have a life, if you build a life according to actually being so excited about it, so when you get a challenge, when you get an obstacle, kind of the excitement about what you're creating and what you want to see for yourself in your life is so much bigger than actually the challenge. So you're actually much more better like backed up to walk through that experience. Rather, if you have, you know, a life that feels very misaligned, you have a career you don't like at all, as soon as some type of problem appear, you know, that is not how we want to build our life. So we want to build our life as much as we can, at least through, okay, if I face problems and if problems will come, there are actually problems that I'm actually excited about solving. Start to get excited about rejections and also curious of why we do get a rejection. So rejections, you probably heard about it, it's usually actually a detour. This is happening for me so many times. Every time when I'm being like kind of resisting a kind of change or resisting something happening to me, and I'm just like, okay, this doesn't look good. And afterwards, when I see kind of the result of it, I'm just like, well, once again, I knew this was a detour. It was for my highest good. It was for the best of all, you know, all of that. So when you're facing some certain type of rejection in how you perceive it to be a rejection, it is important for you to just see it as, okay, there is something greater for me in store, or at least there is something that is maybe a little bit more aligned. If you can't like tap into that bigger picture, like, okay, something else must be a little bit more aligned for me. That's why this is not happening for me at this point. It can also be that you're seeing that, oh wow, I'm actually very like safe, supported, protected in a way that things are not like happening to me if they are not going to be good to me. Or it might actually be that I'm supposed to grow through something here. I'm actually supposed to become someone through this rejection. So many times when you get rejection over and over again and you feel, for instance, that you actually are on the right path, that can actually be because you are building a certain level of resilience of some sort. You are building a certain persona and a version of yourself throughout that process. You're actually becoming that kind of confident person, or that person who just like believes in yourself totally 100%, or the person who always tuning in and listen to herself and no one else because of that, right? When it comes to creating excitement around your challenges, it's also about reframing things. So probably if you would meet a person that you haven't met for a long time who wants the best for you and have the best interest for you, or a best friend or something like that, and you start to talk about your experience and you start to talk about your situation, chances are that your friend will actually give you quite many insights and, you know, show that there are a lot of opportunities in your situation as well. And usually they can do that because they are not as emotionally charged in that situation as you are. So when we know that, we also know that our brain can really frame things and really get very centered on one way of seeing the experience or the situation. And when we can kind of step out of a situation and ask ourselves that, okay, if I would be with my friend right now, or someone who really loves me or something, what could possibly that person see in this situation? What would that person say in this situation? You can take that kind of out of your perspective to see if you can find new perspectives to it, to not frame the reality in the same way. We usually perceive things as if they look to be like negative, quote unquote. We are just perceiving it that way. This is negative. It's only a bad thing. It's not going to be good after this. You know, we're going down that route instead of seeing that things that happen to us and setting the mindset of, every time things happen to me, it is for the better good. It is actually for it is actually something positive coming out of this. And when we see that, even though we don't have to say like this experience is positive, because maybe it doesn't feel like that, we can accept the situation and saying like, I'm accepting the situation for how it is. It doesn't feel so great right now, but I know it is actually a positive experience because I know something really great will come out of this. And when we can change that inner dialogue and change that inner frequency in that kind of way, we are also feeling so much more excited when challenges coming our way, because the more that we kind of exercise that energy or that vibration or that mindset, the more we're just like, wow, I'm facing a challenge right now. Wow, wonder what will come out of this situation. You almost get like excited, giggly for like, okay, I don't see it now, but I will see it soon. What will come into me? We also have to make things exciting outside of that situation. We are tapping into our exotic version of ourselves here. The exotic self face challenges definitely through also having a good balance in their life in general. So sometimes when a situation does feel very like we've been on that situation for a while. Do you understand what I mean? Like we've been on the situation, we have been thinking and overthinking and thinking about the situation over and over again, trying to find answers, taking action, all of that. We start to get a little bit, tired of the situation. We can almost even feel like experience level of burnout in our desires when that happens. And when that happens, we have to make sure that we actually have other areas in our lives that we do feel excited about. So I usually, when I feel that, okay, my situation feels uncertain, I'm facing this challenge right now, and it's difficult for my mind to kind of perceive it positive, it's difficult for my mind to kind of, find a way out, I shift my focus and I pay attention to maybe do something that I know will give me much joy. I pay attention to that. Okay, I know these kind of passions always get me into a good vibe again, always connects me to my higher self. I will do this for a couple of hours. I make sure that I have other things in my life that I actually feel very joyful, excited about, where it's not so, loaded in that situation. So I'm also able to almost take a little bit break from the challenges that I'm facing. And this, of course, can be a little bit difficult if you feel that there are many areas in your life right now where you feel this kind of sense of struggle. But I promise you that you will find one point in your life, something, if you tune in a little bit, find something where you feel, here I actually have a higher level of giggliness, or I know I can actually do something in this area to feel a little bit better. It can be whatever, you love baking, for instance, you feel so excited when you're baking, do that for a while, or hugging your pet, or whatever it is for you. Your exotic self face challenges in a very inventive way. When I'm tapping into the energy of my exotic self, she is inventive. She is, she is rich in ideas. She is enriching every single moment and every single situation in a way. Okay. So here we also have to learn how to be a little bit more open-minded to things and open up our explorative mindset. So when we are just in a situation, we have facing a challenge, I like to, when I feel that I'm a little bit stuck, I like to ask myself that, okay, is there something that I haven't looked into? Is there something I haven't tested out yet? Is there something that I can do totally different? Is there something that I can test out to see what happens? Because sometimes that might not be the answer, but it will actually shift your energies once again. And when you shift your energies, you shift your perspective, you shift your thinking, and you start to get this kind of energy momentum, which I talk about very often. There are 3 things that I stopped doing to be more confident and feel that I face challenges in a better way, where I feel that I actually can carry myself and hold myself through that experience with love, and also hold myself through that experience with more excitement. It's not always easy, I promise you, but many times it's so much easier than it has been from before. So the first thing, and what I actually notice, is that I'm not need to pick myself up that much any longer when it comes to challenges. Before, it could take me days to pick myself up when I faced some kind of challenge. I had some kind of argument with someone at work, or I felt that I was not aligned with my passions or something like that. And when I kind of tapped into that energy or those emotions, it was difficult for me to pick myself up. I could sit and be sad for a whole evening and needed to journal through just to feel that I was on board again, to feel that, okay, you know what, I maybe can do this, almost like that. Nowadays, I shift so much quicker and so much easier, so it's easier for me to be in a dominant vibration. And when we are in a dominant vibration, it's where we start to create our reality in that way. So before, I used to be in that dominant vibration of negativity. Nowadays, I'm more in the dominant vibration of positivity. So due to that, my results and how I achieve my dreams, they go also faster and faster. And of course, we all humans have our kind of own resentment in things. So some areas is of course easier than others. So what I stopped do in order for me to face challenges in this type of way, and in order for me to pick myself up much better, was, I need to actually check because I'm forgetting what I'm talking about. It's that first and foremost, I learned to trust, my ability in myself, and also to seek much less validation Okay, I started to feed myself with a lot of love. I asked myself very deeply, like, where do I seek validation often from others? So I noticed I seeked validation from, partners, and that they were supposed to, tell me that I was beautiful for the day or something like that. I seeked validation sometimes, at work, felt often that I didn't, get kind of acknowledgement for my achievements. And so all of that I started to do, like, but wait a minute, like, if I feel that from others, that must be something that I feel from myself as well. So I started to look into all the patterns where I was actually not really kind to myself, or where I was not supporting myself fully. And when I began to support myself fully in those areas, I became this person who was in overflow. So nowadays, when people give me certain, feedback or certain compliments, I get so happy. I get so giggly. I get so, like, just filled up. But at the same time, I'm already full. Okay, so I just received this kind of overflow, and it's almost even more so fun and just like vibrant to receive those compliments when you already feel love within. So this was a major shift that really helped me to be more confident and take on challenges much easier than before, and reach like quicker results actually in things that I was changing in my life as well, due to that I stopped seeking external validation. Another thing is that I stopped this kind of down talker voice, or at least like I decreased it a lot. So I noticed and I paid close attention to the areas where I was down talking myself. So where did I usually go in my thought processes, right? In what areas did I usually, discourage myself? I paid attention to that. We always need to start with the awareness, right? And then I began to say something new to myself, something that was more encouraging to myself. So pay attention to that kind of down talker voice, because I noticed that that is very, very common for many of us who do actually have a little bit difficulties with navigating in uncertainty. And the next thing I stopped to do is actually to set so much goals. I know that this can be a little bit paradox, and some people might say something else. I know that there are some people that are just like, set your goals, set your deadlines, do this and that. That doesn't really work for me. So if you do feel the same, if you feel that you're in kind of similar rhythms as me, then I would be a little bit more careful in setting goals, because I created this kind of perception of that I was achieving things. At the same time, I was constantly stressed out for not reaching the goals for the day, not holding to the tasks, running after this kind of experience of learning how to plan best, how to, not plan too much or not too little in your calendar, and be more realistic with your goals. I was so much in this kind of productivity era of my life, trying to just figure out the best perfect plan, trying to figure out the best way how to reach the deadlines, how to reach my goals. And I noticed that that actually more so created a fake feeling of getting somewhere, and I was more concerned about just, rushing into the next task. It wasn't helpful for me, and I lived with this so many years. So nowadays I have a very balanced approach to setting goals. I do have my visions, I do have my goals, I do, know what I want, and it's important for us in order for us to create our dream life, right? But it's not so much about I have to reach this within these amount of months, or if I haven't done this for today, I'm a loser. It's not about that. It's more about seeing that, okay, what am I excited about doing for today? And when I tapped into that kind of excitement instead, I also faced less kind of day-to-day challenges or day-to-day stress. So now when we've talked about what to stop to in order for you to face challenges with confidence, with fearlessness, with this kind of exotic vibrancy and excitement, we also need to talk about, of course, what can we do? What are the most kind of important aspects of your day-to-day in order for you to feel that you're actually very confident in challenges? And the first thing I've noticed for myself is actually visualization. When I visualize, especially in the beginning of the day, I tap into the energy of my most authentic, my most extraordinary, my most like confident version of myself. I feel that I can really carry myself out throughout the day. And sometimes I need to pick myself up in the lunch hours or a couple of hours later. It's okay to do so. Like whenever you feel that your energy is dipping a little bit and you want to tap into your exotic version of yourself again, do that. But visualization can really set you up for the day. So when I visualize, I go out of that visualization feeling confident, feeling that I can, approach the world. Everything is possible for me. I will reach my dreams tomorrow. And that energy is actually so important. I really believe in the power of imagination, and that is actually also known to be a superpower. So really tap into this, and you can do it in a little bit different ways, and we can have a discussion about that other times. But it's essentially just to tap into the version of yourself that has those dreams, that has that life for yourself, and just getting into those energies, feeling that feeling of like, oh, it feels so fun, it feels so playful, it feels so easy, I just go about my day and it just feels so I don't know, I feel that I'm in flow, I talk with people, I do like go into whatever kind of your mind associate and flow it into, and get into that visualization. You only need like 5 to 15 minutes per day or in the morning, and then I would say like add it extra if you can as well. The next thing is self-concept. Self-concept has totally changed how I look at myself and success. And it has helped me so much when it comes to being confident in my own success. So self-concept is, as we talked about in the first video about becoming your most exotic self, we talked about, the identity shift and why it's so important to shift your identity in order for you to change everything. And so here is when self-concept comes in as well, because you only change when you see yourself as another person, when you carry yourself out as another person. And what I noticed through years now of self-exploration, of like digging deep into my soul, like learning how to really evolve into the greater version of myself, is that self-concept is quick. Self-concept is it's brilliant actually. When I'm tapping into and talking to myself in a ways that, I am abundant. Yes, I can do this. Wow, I was so great in this task. I am really like going on a great train right now. I'm really like reaching my goals right now. Wow, how I did this with such an ease and such a flow. I love how I feel when I'm so passionate about my life. I love how I feel when I'm so passionate about this moment. Oh, this was so excited. I had such a great friends. When I'm just like affirming and talking in while I'm living my life, while I do my life, but I'm like talking with confidence about how I see my life as a success, how I see as a success. That is like the greatest change you can ever get. And if you want more, let me know also if we want a separate video about self-concept, because we haven't talked about it that much actually. We'll have to talk about it a little bit more in this channel, I guess. Okay, and then we have this kind of soft discomfort. So this is the way where you kind of sometimes need to stretch your comfort zone. I have a video about that, so you can go and watch it as well. It's really great if you want to learn how to stretch out of your comfort zone. But sometimes we need to actually place ourselves in situations where we feel expansion. And it can feel nervous, it can feel a little bit scary, but we also feel this kind of underlying feeling of excitement. We feel that something inside us expands us as well. That is a really great indication of that there is something here for you and you're growing into a new version through this experience. So we want to sometimes place ourselves in situations where we feel a level of discomfort, and it's kind of, just temporary, or it's not like you will feel like your whole nervous system is crashing. That is not what we want to do, but we want to feel a little bit, that, okay, my adrenaline is coming here, but I still can feel that I can hold myself here and be a little bit confident in this situation, right? But still, it is stretching me out of another situation. And I like to actually think about that. I kind of made it a practice that every month I'm feeling about like, what is it, kind of this theme for this month where I can stretch myself a little bit out of my comfort? What is it that I can do? What type of people can I talk to that will expand me into the exotic version of myself, but will also make me feel that I'm doing something new. It feels exciting, but it feels nervous at the same time. And then the last thing is physical activation, actually. And physical activation is something which oh my God, I have had my experience with physical activation. I'm more so activated like in my crown chakra, in my like mental mind, if we say like that, in my ideas. That is kind of the explanation for crown chakra, right? That is what I mean. So my ideas, my channeling abilities, my way of, visioning myself to ways, how I journal, how I like to self-reflect, all of that. Exercise, I think that is so important, but to be honest, need to see it as more important as I do oftentimes. So what I notice with that is that when you're able to kind of ground all your energies, your ideas, your thinking abilities, your emotional aspects with your body, oh my God, you become such a superhuman in many ways. Because when you are shifting your energies, when you do a certain type of exercise where you in your body embodying the feeling of I can do this, embodying the feeling of greatness, of vitality, of extraordinarians, of this feeling of just like radiance, energy, all of that you get throughout actually working out or through doing some type of exercise, moving your body, physical activation, as I like to call it, right? When you do that, you also tap into a more confident version. You are more likely actually to face uncertain times and challenges better because your body feels better. So your body feels that they can hold different energies, it can hold more like difficult emotions because your body feels great still, right? And sometimes when we get ourselves in a certain position through a yoga pose or through a dance or something where we get into a position that makes us feel in one way or another confident, oh my God. Okay, so this is how you will get kind of your superpower in facing challenges with excitement, because challenges will come and go, but it is actually how you carry yourself and how you feel about those challenges that makes you more likely to achieve your dreams, more likely to go through uncertainty quicker and easier and in a way that feels so much more better, and also in order for you to grow the best. Next time we'll talk about something that so many of you want to tap into when it comes to your most exotic self, and that is your liberation. That is your freedom, the freedom over your time, the freedom over your schedule, the freedom to do whatever you like to do, the freedom of being so deeply involved in your passions. And we're going to talk about what really matters in order for you to create that freedom.